It seems like it's been 40 weeks since you got 40 winks. Your back pain? Unbearable. Tossing, turning, trying to find that pain-free position. And that's the moment you realize you can't spend another waking moment putting off treatment.
The Joint and Spine Center is Cincinnati's leading destination for spine care, with a ton of surgical and non-surgical treatments for back pain. So when a moment has the power to change the rest of your life, go to the one place with the power to change it for the better, the Christ Hospital Health Network. This changes everything.
The Pound This Podcast is brought to you by the Christ Hospital Health Network. This is the Pound This Podcast, episode 686, Daily Weigh-In, How Long Until I See Results?
I want to lose weight, but I don't know how to get started.
What should I meal prep every week?
How do I get those sweet booty gains?
Inspiration for your healthy lifestyle. The Pound This Podcast with Amanda Valentine.
Hey friends, welcome to the Pound This Podcast. I am your host, Amanda Valentine, and I have been obese for most of my life. I'm going to say about 6 years old or so, spent well over a decade yo-yo dieting. And then about 10 years ago, I made a New Year's resolution to stop dieting and start making the best decision possible in every moment. And from then, my entire life has changed. I've lost over 100 pounds. I started this podcast at the beginning of 2018 to help other people on their weight loss journeys or their journeys to become healthier people. And I have quit my full-time 9-to-5 job, become a certified personal trainer, a certified nutrition coach, and I want to do everything in my power with my own personal journey to help you on yours. So if you're listening to this podcast and you find any value in any episode you listen to, please, please, please share the love, share with family, friends, anyone you think that could find some benefit from this podcast. And you can always reach out to me with any questions or comments. You can email me at amanda@amandavалентиnebites.com. It's my goal to give you the best information possible for your journey and let you know that you're not alone. I appreciate you listening so much, and I would really appreciate you also sharing the love with this small business entrepreneur as I try to make my life's mission helping other people live their best lives. So here we go. Thank you so much for listening to the Pound This Podcast. This is the Daily Weigh-In, where I take your questions, mostly from my Instagram page. You can find me at You Can Pound This, or you can always shoot me an email, amanda@amandavалентиnebites.com, and I answer them. One question and an answer to the best of my abilities. If I can't answer your question, then I'll try to direct you to someone who can, or have them as a guest on this podcast. Today's question is, how long does it take to see results? And I will say it's different for everybody. All right. See ya. Bye. End of podcast. Just kidding, obviously. But yeah, it is going to be completely different for everybody. I will say for me, how long it took me to see results on this weight loss journey, which I've been on for a decade, minus the yo-yo dieting I did for another decade. I'd say that I start seeing real results within the first couple months. So yeah, months. It's going to take some time. And I know that that's what gets so frustrating, right? Because you're doing this, especially if you're doing weight loss, you're like, I want to see the results. The results will give me motivation. Once I see results, I'll want to do more, and then I'll see more results and I want to keep doing more. And yeah, it does kind of work that way, except it moves much, 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 much slower than you would like it to. And it especially sucks because at first, if you're going from not doing anything to kind of changing your lifestyle around, you're probably going to see a lot of results up first, and then you're going to get into a plateau, which is a discussion we'll get on another podcast because that comes up a lot because plateaus suck ass. But I mean, I have a problem with patience anyway. So I think anything that requires patience sucks ass for me, but which is also goes into seeing results. But I'd say to make that process a little bit faster, you're going to have many different markers for what you see as results other than the scale, which I know, I just did an episode not too long ago about the scale. But that plays into this question too. So I'd say for me, I noticed the difference on the scale, and I noticed the difference in my clothes, especially probably around the 2-month mark. Definitely saw a lot of differences there for me specifically. But I'd say that what you got to look for is a bunch of different things. And if you need to write these things out and think of these as markers of what you're looking for, especially with weight loss, but you want to look, I mean, I would put the scale at last. Like the scale is helpful, but it's not. And it all depends on what you're doing, if you're starting off with some strength training or not too. But go by how your clothes fit, go by how your skin looks, go by how you feel, your energy levels. You need to go by measurements. So I would highly, highly, highly recommend, and I know it sucks because taking pictures sucks, especially if you got to get down to your undies or to a swimsuit or whatever, but that's where you're really going to see the difference. If you're looking for, you want to see results, you're using those results as a motivator. Take pictures every week. Like take the front shot, side shot, back shot, and keep those on a folder on your phone. Keep them wherever you need to keep them, to use those as a marker of seeing progress, because you're going to be going after this for a few weeks and you're not going to see a difference. You're going to feel like your clothes don't feel that different. The scale might not be moving, but you're going to see the difference in those photos. Even if it's minor, you're going to be able to see something. You know what I'm saying? So photos are huge. Highly recommend taking your measurements. You can do the whole shebang of doing, your arms, your neck, your, calves, everything else if you want to have those markers, or you can just do, bust, smallest part of your waist, abdomen, like around your belly button, and hips. So you can do those if you're kind of like just checking the middle section. But I'd say do your measurements either once a week or once a month. Or whatever works best for you. Any sort of timeline. But photos, measurements, use the scale as a marker of those two. And again, think about your energy levels. Keep track of those. If you got a journal of that so you can remind yourself that you can see this progress, keep track of that. Keep track of your sleep. Are you sleeping any better? Are you sleeping deeper? Are you sleeping longer? Keep track of your skin. Do you have any acne clearing up? The photos will help with that too. How is that feeling? Your mood. Do you feel like that you're in a better mood now? Are you less angry? Those sorts of things. All of those go into account of progress. And I know we always just get so hung up on the number of the scale, but all of those things are progress. You know what I'm saying? Of just, and just even like, are you feeling more gratitude? Are you feeling a little bit more self-love to yourself? Are you feeling better about this process? Does it feel less like this diet prison or whatever? Or, you know what I'm saying? Like do check-ins with yourself, mental health check-ins too. See where your mental health is at. Those are all such great ways to, track your results. And yeah, you might feel like drastically different up front and then you kind of settle out. But then I think it's important as far as mental health goes, especially if you're just starting or wherever you're starting today, write it out in a note on your phone, write it out in a journal, whatever you got to do, record a voice memo on your phone. Like, how are you feeling right now? Take all of those markers, put it all into an account right now. How am I feeling about my body? How do I feel about myself? How do I feel about my food? Where am I at? And kind of do those sorts of check-ins too, and just see where your mental health is at on this journey. And you're going to notice a difference. I think that if, you're fueling your body with the right foods, you're moving your body, you're doing stuff like gratitude journaling or affirmations, and you're really like working on yourself as a whole, working on your sleep hygiene, etc., you're going to see some sort of results. And you're not going to see them on a day-to-day basis because that's just life. We're busy. Our brains have a lot of other things to worry about, minus what's going on in the world around us, just in our own lives with family and friends and coworkers and jobs and bills and traffic and everything else. That if you kind of keep track of these things for you, then you're going to catch those results. And if you kind of seeing yourself not having any of those results in any of those areas, it's time to, retool the game plan of, hey, what can I change so these things are getting better? And if you're stuck and you can't think of anything, that's when you reach out, hire a health coach or a dietitian or a nutritionist or a personal trainer, or talk to your doctor or talk to your friends and coworkers, or join a group online or join a group in person, or, you know what I mean? Or just, reach out to a mental health professional. That's when it's a point of like, I want this for myself and I am keeping track of all these things, and I've kept track of these things for months now and not a damn thing is changing. that's the time where you're like, if you can't figure that out, ask for help. If this is something you really want for yourself, and I'm assuming it is, I mean, you're listening to this podcast. I mean, I don't think that you're not wanting to work on your own health and wellness if you're listening to a health and wellness podcast. You know what I'm saying? So you're obviously invested in yourself. So invest a little bit further and reach out and get some help. If that's something where you even need to bounce an idea off of me or have a question, again, I'm always open for questions. Email me, Amanda@AmandaValentineBites.com, or I can shoot you to someone that can help in the ways that you need help. I'm happy to connect you with someone, at least I know it in my bubble, that can help you get on track with what you need to get done. You know what I'm saying? So that's my answer to that question is, you know, there's a lot of ways to track results and also be patient. And I got to say that to myself too. Excuse me, because I mean, I'm so incredibly bad with patience. But that being said, I'm almost 10 years into a weight loss journey and I've completely switched careers in my entire life around because this has made such a massive impact in my life to choose myself and choose my health. So as an incredibly impatient person and as a person who spent most of her life obese and then a decade yo-yo dieting, for me to switch that around, I feel like, yeah, we can do this. You know what I'm saying? There's workarounds for everything, and it's not easy. It's going to be hard. You're going to fall down a lot. There's going to be those valleys and not always peaks, but you know, ultimately, is it worth it? Hell yes, it is. You are worth it. This is for you. This is the body that you are spending the rest of your life in. Let's take care of it. And again, it's a lifelong journey here. We got all of life. So that helps me when I come to impatience of like, well, you know, hopefully we got a long road ahead. Fingers crossed. Hopefully this journey isn't going to end sooner than I would like it to. So let's work on things for the long haul, because I don't want to be, you know, in my 60s, 70s and not be able to move my body and feeling like crap about myself. I don't want that for me. And so let's work on it every single day and we'll get some sort of results. You know, if you focus on it, you put some work in, you're going to see something, you know? So hopefully that answers your question. And again, I appreciate you so much listening to this podcast. It really means a lot to me. Again, if you could rate and review on Apple Podcasts or wherever, subscribe, etc., share with your friends. That is incredibly helpful for me. And if you find any value in this episode or any episode, please share. And I'll talk to you tomorrow.
For info on health coaching and more, go to AmandaValentineBites.com.